Hi, hello everybody. I'm Dr. M. Kamakshaya, freelance software evangelist, full stack developer, and also trainer of data science, academic of data science and analytics. In my previous video, I'm showing you how to create the VBA module and also write basic subroutine and as well as function. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write how to develop a subroutine as well as a function for a simple statistical measure called arithmetic average. Now in this, our strategy is going to be like this. I'm just going to make use of arrays. I'm going to show you how to declare the variables and arrays. Most of the time, I mean, whenever I would like to write a program for any particular statistical technique, first I define the logic and I create the variables as by the logic. Now I'm going to show you how to perform an arithmetic average, but by developing a subroutine. Suppose you want to write a subroutine for arithmetic average, you have to, as I have explained you in my previous, if you're not watching my previous video, just go back to my previous video and see how to open a module, create a module, save a module, open the module, and write the programs. Now you need to write subroutine, and then after that you have to define your subroutine by choosing a name. I'm going to develop code for a particular. I'm going to choose a name called arithmetic mean, something like this. Now, since it is a subroutine, you don't need to worry about the type of the output. In functions, you need. I mean, a few times. Sometimes you also have to define the type of the output that which you are going to return. Suppose that I will talk when I take up the function. Now let us develop the logic. The logic goes like this. I'm going to the Excel sheet. I'm going to write the program such a way that Excel sheet is going to ask for an input. The first input. This is going to be the first input, and that input is going to be the number of elements. And now when you give the number in Excel, then the Excel is going to ask that many number of times for new inputs, uh, and all the inputs will be accepted as in the form of a data variable, and these inputs we are going to send them into an array, and after that the same array elements are going to be processed for an arithmetic mean. Okay, now to declare an array, so there is a way in Excel. We need to tell Excel that I'm going to create a variable, and whenever you are going to create a variable, that is referred to dim. Maybe I don't know. It may refers to dimension or something like that. Dim. Whenever you put this dim before a name, then that is going to be a variable. Now, I'm going to create a array, and I call that array as array. Whenever you want to create an array, you need to give a name for that array and open parentheses and then close the parentheses. So this entire object now is a dimension of the type as variant. So you can also choose array. I think you don't have the array. Okay, as variant. So variant means it can be anything. It can be an integer, it can be a double, it can be a float, it can be string, or whatever it is. Now this array is going to be the container for our repeated iterations. We are going to iterate the spreadsheet to ask us values. The first value is going to be n, and this is going to be input. You have a command called input box in VBA. Now you can ask number of elements, okay, or number of values. That will be easy for me. Now this, and since we are using a variable inside, when a value inside, it is called a variable, not a value. Inside the program, we need to define that as a dimension. So dim n as since we are going to input some value just like 10, 20, 30, something like that, this is certainly going to be an integer. So since we know the type of the data, or means we are certain about the data types, we can straight away define that as an integer. Now after this, n is getting created. Now we need to prepare the spreadsheet to ask n number of times for input data. For that, since we are going to loop it, we just use a for loop called for. Maybe I can ask I is equal to 1 to n, then ask repeatedly for an input. Okay, input data value, something like that. And now we need to redirect this input into a particular container, and in this case we are going to use array as a container. Now for every ith value, ith this is what is called the array indexing. The array indexing starts from 0 to n, and here we are just we internally would like to go for input box. Now since we are going to iterate this 1 to n times, suppose if our n value is going to be 5, now we are going to iterate we are going to use this for loop for 5 times to ask for a value, and this value is going to every ith index or the place of an array. Now whenever you use for loop, you need to close this loop with an extra. Now just as a matter of proof, let us make some sum. I call this sum value as 0, and then I need to, since I'm using sum as a variable, I need to define this sum as maybe I can say variant, and then the same sum I'm going to sum up the elements inside the array. Okay, so now precisely we are going to ask, I mean we are writing a program which is going to ask us for a number of values, and then after we input a value, and the Excel sheet is going to ask that many times to accept and input data, and that data is going to be saved in an array, and these array elements will be summed up with the help of a logic called sum is equal to sum plus array I. For every I in array, make sum, add them to the sum, and then finally message box that sum. So this is precisely what is the logic inside this arithmetic mean. I did not gonna calculate the arithmetic mean. I'm going to do that in a couple of seconds. First let me see if the sum is being created through this logic. I'll stop my program here and check if the sum is getting created or not. Now since this is a subroutine, I have to add a button, and this button is going to be the arithmetic mean, and now I'm going to write I'm going to change the name as arith mean, something like this. When I press, it will ask for, I'll put 5. Now it is going to ask me 5 times for the input values. I'll just choose, something went wrong here. Now whenever you have a problem in your program, it will get into the debug mode, and now you see there is a problem here. Now we just defined an array, but we didn't tell it that we are going to save the elements. So if that is going to be the case, we need to communicate to the Excel that we are going to save the elements. If that is the case, we have a function called redeem array n as variant. Now what we are doing here is, I already defined an array, and now reset this array data type into for n. So this n is coming from this input box. Now to get out of the debug mode, you have to press this small rectangle button and then save. Excel should be able to trigger the message. Now press arithmetic and the same 5. I'm going to give 1 to 5 values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you see we got the 15. So our logic is working. Now what we do, we just have to make a small change. Arithmetic average is anything which is a ratio of sum divided by the number. So number is n here. So my logic is, I have everything ready to compute the arithmetic mean. Now go and press, I want to compute arithmetic mean for 5 elements, and my elements are going to be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously the arithmetic mean is going to be 5. And if you are not able to believe me, you create some values here, 5 elements, and then use average for all range. Then you have 3. Same thing, it happens through subroutine. This is enough for this video. In my next video, I'm going to show you how to write the function. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for the new content. If you like my video, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.